Okay, everything's A-okay. You ready to put some sweet guitar behind it? All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Wow. Okay, hey, BOOZHOO, and welcome back to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am NANABOOZHOO. Over here. The lovely and the talented Natasha. Ikadon BOOZHOO ni weenie mushane. Say hello, my sweetheart. BOOZHOO gakina awia. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. And in this corner over here, weighing in at, I don't know, you're probably, 175 soaking wet? I don't know. The rock star cartoonist, Michael Lyons. Ikadon BOOZHOO niji. Say hello, brother. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. And today, on our very special noontime Ojibwe language and culture podcast. Oh, is this a special? Yeah, that's why we came on at noon today. I wanted it to be special. It wasn't that we were just kind of on Indian time in the worst way. Yeah. I can't decide if Indian time is racist. What do you mean? Like respecting Indian time? Is it like the racism of low expectations where they go, oh no, that's just cultural. You are living the way of the ancestors by being so late. Because now, like, white people are into it. They're like, oh, no, that's cool. You show up whenever you want. It's probably white supremacy that says we have to be starting at 8 o'clock. What am I, colonized? That's what people are like, no, man, I don't want to be the the colonized watch doesn't tell me the time. I tell the watch what time it is. But here we are, 4 hours late. What? I had stuff to do. But, sweetie. Yeah? Did you know that today is Neo Geisha Good? I suspected as much, but it is, huh? Yep. The fourth day, Neo Geisha Good. Or, if you want to talk like some brainwashed, colonized, good little English speaker. What? I don't know. Or Thursday. Thursday. Neo Geisha Good. And on this Thursday, I was thinking, sweetie, I was thinking about picnics. Really? What were you thinking about picnics? Well, it was the only time I remember hearing my grandmother consistently use Ojibwe. What do you mean? It was always, Umbe, Bindigan, Namadabig, Wisani, Umbe. Come on. That's right. Umbe. Umbe. Come on. I mean, I guess technically it kind of means come here or, you know, let's go. Come on. Umbe. It's sort of in the sound of the word. Like, you know, sometimes in Ojibwe, yeah, you kind of have to be sort of loose with the English translation is always like the spirit of the word. You know, it doesn't mean come on. It means come on. You know, umbe. And then bindigain means like enter. You can come in the house. Umbe. Bindigain. Or if you were saying it to a bunch of people, sweetie, yeah, you would say bindigeg. Bindigeg. You'd add a G instead of an N. Yeah, huh? And so, I know, why am I telling you? You already know this. I know, but, you know, for the show. Right, for the show. So, today, kids, our Ojibwe phrases and whatever. Bindigain. Enter. But if you want to say, I'll use, you know, all y'alls, you would say bindigeg. And then you might, and so nabada bin is sit down if it's just one person. Like if you're there with your sweetheart, you'd say, hey, baby. Hey, baby. Umbe. Bindigain. Nabada bin. Come in. And, sit or sit down. A bin means sit down or sit, whatever. But big again is when it's a bunch of people. Kind of like, sweetie, be listening. Be listening. Come and eat. So if you want to like shorten it down instead of bindigain, enter, or umbe, you kind of say be or be listening. Come and eat. Or if you're yelling at the whole family, they're down at the lake, you got to go. Be listening. Come and eat, all yous. All yous. Yeah, all yous. Y'all, as they'd say in the South. As they'd say down south. Southern. Hey, y'all. Come and eat, y'all. Down south, they'd have like a big old triangle, and Ma would come out and clang on that triangle. Yeah. Should be all like, come and eat, y'all. But up here in the Ojibwe country, we say, be weesanig. Weesanig. Or if you're just one person, be weesanin. Come and eat. Umbe. Be weesanin. Come and eat. So, BOOZHOO crew, you know, bindigain, enter. Welcome to the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. I think we already did that. Yeah, I think so too. How come I'm having a hard time shutting off these texts? So, what's going on? I don't know. Should I say hi to the crew? Yeah, let's greet the crew. John Redcorn's here. Well, hi, John. BOOZHOO. BOOZHOO, Mr. Redcorn. Let's get a big old gold star for John Redcorn for a change. Yeah, he's never the first. Yeah, no kidding. It's nice to see you, John. And coming in second, Wally Bear. Wally Bear says, BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. And Natasha, hey, BOOZHOO right back at ya. Silver star for the Wall Bear. BOOZHOO, Wally Bear. And Wally Bear says, BOOZHOO Michael Lyons, the rock star cartoonist guy. Hey, Michael. Wally Bear says hello. Hey, Wally Bear, what's going on? Silver star for Wally Bear. And John Redcorn says, I learned it from watching you. Okay. John Redcorn's that little kid in that old 80s pot commercial. Oh, the Just Say No? Yeah, remember that? I loved it. It used to be an old commercial. His kids, his dad finds his stash. And yeah, he's just mad at the kid. He's like, hey, you little punk. Look what I found. I found your stash of marijuana. Bunch of stems and seeds in a little baggie in your bowl and lighter. Who taught you how to do this? You tell me. He doesn't ask, where did you get it? Because, you know, the dad would be too afraid to go, like, confront a drug dealer. Yeah. But instead he goes, who taught you how to do this? And the kid looks up and he goes, you, all right? I learned it from watching you. And then the dad feels just guilty. He's like, oh, I didn't know that kid was watching when me and the old lady were smoking up. And then a thing comes up and says, just say no. Nancy Reagan. Listen to your elders, Nancy Reagan. Just say no to marijuana. It was a powerful commercial. It changed all our lives. Yep. I know I never tried it. Nope, never once. Well, I mean, I tried it, but I didn't inhale, and I didn't like it, and I never did it again. Is that what are you, Bill Clinton? Yeah. Remember that? Bill Clinton. Oh, they're so progressive and liberal. Bill Clinton. The guy who couldn't admit to smoking pot in college. So afraid of not being... whatever. I'm getting to the point I might not even vote for Bill Clinton. I think it's a little late for that. Oh, really? So, yeah. And who's in thirds? Dr. Evils. Oh, BOOZHOO Dr. Evils. Sweetie. Yeah, I heard you. Dr. Evils with the bronze star. BOOZHOO Dr. Evils. Hello. Best thing I learned from Native Niji. Native time. Yeah. It's the get out of jail free card for showing up late at stuff. Oh, I was on Indian time. I was living the ways of nature. The wind does not decide to start blowing at a certain time of the day. It just blows. And that is where I will be. Where the wind blows and the river flows and the grass grows. Nobody knows. Pinocchio's nose grows. I'm going to work this into a children's book. Hey, there you go, Michael. What's that? How about a new children's book idea? I just rhyme 1 million old Indian phrases. That's $1 million idea. For as long as the wind blows and the grass grows and the water flows and nobody knows, I will fight no more forever, sweetie. Okay, good. I don't like it when you fight. Yeah. I leave a trail of destruction when I fight. I will fight no more forever. Who else is here, sweetie? I think Jim Dunn just walked in. Hey, Jim, what's going on? Jim's, y'all doing? Y'all doing? Hello, Jim. How are all y'all? How the wife and kids? I want to be a southern redneck, sweetie. You want to be a southern redneck? Yeah, they seem to, think what you will about their politics. I think living the life of a guy who's got like his couch on the front yard and he's wearing bib overalls but not even like a shirt underneath. And he's just, spitting, having some lemonade or iced tea or... I mean, if I'm going to be a proper redneck, I'm going to have to drink beer again. You going to fall off the wagon? Yeah, when I become a trailer southern redneck guy. Okay. It's a stone's throw between the... like there was an old saying, what was it? I think it was... who wrote Smoke Signals? That was Sherman Alexie. Sherman Alexie had a... There was a quote once. He goes, what's the difference between the close-minded, homophobic, racist, beat-up truck-driving misogynists at the border town and reservation Indians? What? The Indians have braids. But essentially the same culture when it came to all that. But I don't know. So I think it wouldn't be hard for me to slide into the lifestyle. I know how to drive a tractor. Do you really? Yeah, I learned when I was a kid. I could probably pick it up again. I know how to do a stick shift and all that. Clutch. Do they just start with a key? Yeah, I think you just start with a key like a car. Yeah, I want to drive a tractor, live in the South, hang out on my couch on the front yard in front of a trailer. It can be a well-worn trailer. I don't care. I mean, look at this place. Living in a trailer park would be a step up. Well, for sure it would. But I love this house. Yeah, I do too. But, it's not like we'd be leaving Graceland. No. And I was walking in sunshine. But today, sweetie. Hey, you want to take a call? A phone call? Yeah, on line 2. Oh, sure. I wonder who this could be. BOOZHOO. Welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. You're on the air. Me love cookie. Me love cookie. Yeah, I know you love cookies. How's it going, Cookie Monster? Me want learn Ojibwe. Okay, take it easy. Sweetie. Hi, Cookie Monster. Hi, Natasha. Take it easy. Today we're talking about, you might appreciate this. Umbe means come on. Umbe, come on. Yep. And then Bindagain means enter. Bindagain, enter. Yep. And Nabada Big means sit down, everybody. If you're going to say, if you have a crowd of people, you say Nabada Big. But if it's just one person, you say Nabada Bin. Nabada Big, sit down, everyone. Yep. And Be Wisanin means come and eat. Be Wisanin, come and eat. Yep. Be Wisanin, come and eat cookie. Yeah, cookie or bakwaji gans. Bakwaji gans! Bakwaji gans! Cookie! Yep. And then be wisanig. Come and eat. Would be like if you're saying it to a group of people. Like you're having a dinner party, huh, sweetie? Yep. Be wisanig! Be wisanig! Come and eat! Yep. No offense, but I don't think I'd be inviting you to any of my dinner parties. Me love cookie! Yeah, I know. If I have a cookie party, you're the first guy I call. But I'm not so sure what his table manners would be like. And that's us. There's some Ojibwe we were teaching this morning. What's going on in your world, Mr. Monster.
Me love cookie.
Yeah, I know. Listen, dude, I gotta go. You're kind of a one-note person. And you know what? You got a real problem there. I've talked to him about this before. What's that? I've had the tough love. We had an intervention for him. Remember that? Yeah, I remember. Cookie, you need to look into some of your compulsive dependency issues.
No, me love cookie.
Yeah, I know you love Cookie, but it's not healthy. Listen, I gotta go.
How you say goodbye in Ojibwe? Ah!
We say, Gigawabamin, Minawa. I will see you again.
Gigawabamin, minawa.
Yeah, okay. Oh, for some reason, my voice is so sore right now, sweetie. I wonder why. Yeah, I don't know. And there you go, Cookie Monster. He's got some problems. Yeah, he really does. I'm not sure what children are supposed to learn from the character of Cookie Monster. On the educational children's show known as Sesame Street, well, they learn C is for cookie. Oh, that's right. And it's good enough for him. Yeah. C is for cookie, it's good enough for me. C is for cookie, it's good enough for me. C is for cookie, it's good enough for me. And that's how... Wow. What? I'm just now remembering that Sesame Street maybe wasn't the greatest thing ever. You don't think so? I mean, it was innovative. I'll give it that. But they could have tried harder with their music. Like us. Here's a song about remembering. GIMIKWENDEN and do you remember, sweetie? I remember this song. This is Natasha. GIMIKWENDEN and do you remember? GIMIKWENDEN and do you remember? GIMIKWENDEN and do you remember? In Ojibwe I say, for do you remember? GIMIKWENDEN and do you remember? Do you remember? Oh, what? Like that. Compare that to C is for cookie. Oh, get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely and talented Natasha. Ah. So, what else is going on today? Are you gonna take me home tonight? You're already home. Yeah, I don't know. Did we plan anything? Did you want to get teleported somewhere? I could go up to the moon. Do you want to go up to the moon again? Yeah. All right, hang on. Let me scan for your coordinates. I'm going to teleport up to the moon. I need to get some perspective. Okay. All right, let's see. That's 1 to teleport. Yep, just me. And on the moon. And okay. Do you want to start? No, I think you start. Oh, right. 1 to teleport. Make it so. Number 1. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, hang on. Oh, wow. Yep, here it is again. Dybbuk Jesus. Dybbuk Jesus. Oh, I wonder if Sesame Street started at the same time they faked the moon landing. It was the same era. What was it, 69 when they said they landed on the moon? I bet you Sesame Street started around then. Maybe it was the early 70s. I don't remember when Sesame Street was in a show. Let me just say that. And I'm old now. When I say back in the days of the grandfathers, I'm talking about my childhood. That's how old I am. Anyway. You're asking me to believe gawin kang danzin. Did they really shoot 3 guys up in a rocket and fly it to the moon? 6 different times in 3 years, and then never again. La dee 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 da. No. That's what they said. They flew up here 6 times. 3 different, with a different crew of 3 every time. A bunch of baby boomers got into a rocket. You know, like a bottle rocket, only huge. Rocket. Rocket. The thing invented by Nazis. Real Nazis. Not just, you know, the make-believe attackers of Jesse Smollett. Real Nazis. They're the ones who started NASA. It was their technology. Everybody knows, they remember that, oh yeah, World War II Nazis. They knew something was up about space. They had these crazy ships. And it was rocket technology. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Meaning rocket scientry is really, you got to be really smart. Ooh. Who could possibly engineer a rocket that would fly up in the air if you lit it on fire and have something explode? Ooh. But they say they did that. And I'm starting to doubt that. I mean, except for all the obvious that the film looks so fake. Even their story, I have a hard time believing. You know. They didn't have a bathroom in their rocket ship. Those guys had to just, if it were real, they would have just gone in their suits. NASA diapers. Grown men. In what I'm imagining is an unbelievably tight, confined space. I mean, it's like having 3 guys in the front of a pickup. For how many days to get to the moon? I don't know. They don't like to remind people of what their story is. Did it take hours to get to the moon? Or days? How long were they on the moon? Was it the kind of thing where they just landed, jumped right out, took a bunch of pictures, got back in and left? Or was there like downtime that wasn't on film where they were doing something? I don't know, and I look into this stuff all the time. You know. I mean, when you do your own research, you kind of go, oh yeah, sure, you know. They accidentally erased all the tapes. They accidentally, lost all this information that would confirm what they're saying about going to the moon. But you start digging around, you go down this one rabbit hole, and then it shoots off. Why would they lie? Oh, you have to understand, America. We were in a space race with Russia. That part was true. Like, no. They were hiding a whole other lie. It's like, okay, if they figure out that we can't go to the moon, that the moon isn't flying in outer space, that it's just a light in the sky, like our eyes tell us. It's not a place you can fly a rocket to and land, drive a doom buggy, play golf, bounce around, take a picture, take one good picture on the last, or one full picture of the Earth, the only one in existence from outer space, is the one we've all seen. Not this one. This one's called Earthrise. But, this is supposed to be a real photo from the moon. I don't know. Looks pretty fake to me, if you ask me. Anyway. Should I say a prayer while I'm up here? What am I doing up here? Okay. Whenever I get on the moon, it just reminds me of how much I have to say about the moon landing, the nature of what is beyond the dome. But not everybody wants to hear it. People never kind of go, hey man, thanks for shattering all my previous illusions. I heard somebody say, it's easier to lie to a person than it is to convince a person they've been lied to. Once they believe a lie, they go, oh, well, no. Because number one, if you say, I lied about this, you have no credibility. I was talking to somebody this weekend. They were like, yeah, I guess the guy came out and said that he faked the Bigfoot footage from the Patterson film. He said, he claimed, no, that was me in a gorilla suit. We faked it. And I go, oh, what? Well, how can I believe you? Oh, excuse me, sir. I'm a complete liar. I lie about everything. Except this one thing, obviously. But I'm going to tell you something that's true. I used to lie about stuff. I lied about this thing. I faked a thing. Most people are like, no. I mean, if Neil Armstrong came out and finally just said, hey, yeah, by the way, it was a whole organized crime thing and whatever. They threatened my family. I was an astronaut. I was training to do this mission. But we didn't do anything. They just came up with this whole thing. And they threatened my family if I said anything. Good night. Would the world go, crap. They faked the moon landing. I know, I was pretty disappointed. I wasn't disappointed when I never quite believed they went to the moon. Even as a kid, I had enough common sense to go, that looks fake. But when I found out that they fake space, that blew my mind. I was like, what? What do you mean there's no outer space? I had to reorganize my whole imagination of like, does that mean Mars isn't a round rock with a little robot driving around on it? How far back do what, you mean Star Trek is not possible? Unless I reimagine space as being water? Just an infinite sea of water? And I think the Enterprise that'd make more sense if they were like a submarine. Anyway, I'm gonna go back. Boop. BOOZHOO! Hi, sweetie. You ready to come home? Yeah, I'm just rambling on about nothing now. Okay. Well, hang on. I'll bring you home. Okay. That's one to teleport. Make it so, number one. Nah. Okay, don't move. I won't. Hey, baby doll. Well, hi. How was the moon this morning? You know, not bad. Peaceful, quiet. Jesus. Now I just start going off about conspiracy theories again. No. Yeah. I hate even calling them conspiracy theories. Because that's a conspiracy. I know. Truth. The boy win. But I don't know. You want to get up here? Well, maybe we can turn the camera over here. Or that's what I mean. Can we turn the camera over to Natasha? The lovely and the talented co-host. All right. Let's play Michael's song. Oh, yeah, okay. I never meant one word. I never meant one word. I never meant one word I said. And I'm so sorry. Here's a song. And up next, the lovely and the talented Natasha. Miigwech Bizendawieg. Thank you for listening. I never meant one word. 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 I never meant one word I said. Now you're my one. You're my only regret. I never meant one word. I never meant one word. I never meant one word I said. I lost my job just the other day, and like everybody else, well, I've got a mountain of bills that need to be paid. Then I lost my way, now I don't know which way to go. But the wind may blow and the grass may grow, and for all we know, well, it just might snow. And what'll I do? What have we become when the day is over and the night's begun? What'll I do about me and you? I told you before, we are so through. But I never meant one word. I never meant one word. I never meant one word I said. I never meant one word. I never meant one word. I never meant one word I said. Now you're my one. You're my only regret. I never meant one word. I never meant one word. I never meant one to sit up at night just so I could watch ya. I wrote on my bedroom wall, Michael loves Natasha. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. Now you're my one, you're my only regret. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. And I'm so sorry, I never treat you like that again. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. I forgot about that. I like my fade out. Hey, everybody. BOOZHOO. One word. Ice. Have you ever felt like that, NanaBOOZHOO? What's that? Like you needed to apologize and say, I never meant one word that I said. Nope, I pretty much stand by everything I've ever said and done. Oh, is that right? Yep. I'll look you dead in the eyes. I got nothing to apologize for. Okay. Me, on the other hand, sometimes, I don't know, I've had to apologize. Really? Mm-hmm. What have you done that was wrong? Oh, I guess all the murdering and the stealing. You've murdered and stolen? Oh, for sure. What else? Who among us hasn't killed and stolen from time to time? You see, I kill when I'm doing comedy. Oh, I get it. And I've stolen the hearts of America. Yeah, okay. No, I don't know. Anyway, so what are we learning? What are we talking about today, sweetie? On this Neo-Geisha-Good. On this fourth day. I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about. What do I want to talk about? Did you put out tobacco and pray to your creator when you were on the moon? No, I did not. Well, I guess I got to do everything around here. Would you mind? I'm going to go outside and put out some tobacco. Okay. Neo-Geisha-Good. It's fourth day. Thursday. It's Thirsty Thursday. Noonday Minnequay, noonday Minnequay. Hey kids, do you remember what noonday Minnequay means? That's right. I need to drink or I'm thirsty. Noonday Minnequay. No, just kidding. Yeah. So if you'd like to lock in on my coordinates, I'll teleport out to the beautiful meadow. All right. Hang on. Locking in on them coordinates. Okay. And that's 1 to teleport. Make it so, number 1. Oh, wow. What a beautiful place. Bonjour. Hello. Hi, sweetie. Oh, hey, did you make it out there okay? Yep, I sure did. All right, will you just give me a call when you want me to pick you up? Roger that. Roger that, over and out. Over and out. That's the Ojibwe, or that's the English word for gigawabamin. Yeah, so I'm just going to say a little prayer. Put a little of the old asema, a little tobacco, asema. Everybody knows about Indians and me smoking peace pipe. If you grow up in America, you're like, oh, what are Indians about? I think they have bows and arrows, and they use long pipes, and they're called peace pipes. It's called a bungin opwagan, a peace pipe. But I don't think they were ever called peace pipes. I think they were just pipes. And they would smoke tobacco in those pipes. Opwagan. Oh no, wait, Opwagan's pipe. Asema. They put the tobacco in the pipe. So, back in the days of the grandfathers, if somebody wanted to go up to their elder and talk to them, they wouldn't just barge into the living room and go, hey, listen up, we got some things to say. No, they'd go, Odapananiwi asema, accept my tobacco. Or Daga Odapananiwi asema, please accept my tobacco. And if the elder would take that tobacco, it meant he would listen and consider what you're saying. So a lot of people sometimes they'd reserve giving tobacco for only like, oh, I gotta go ask a favor or something. But for a lot of people, especially like Dakota people, I understand that they'll always do it when they go over to their grandpas or something. Here you go, Grandpa, here's some tobacco. But so when I pray, I like to say, Gitchimanadu. Taka otapana niwi asema. Great Spirit, please accept my tobacco. And then I'll say, Mikwech kaiji kakina keku. Kaiji chikea noongum. Thank you for everything that you do today. Mikwech kandiwi bamadazian. Thank you for my life. Mikwech kaiji kishakuk. Thank you for this day. Mikwech kaiji kake niwi kashkenda moen. Thank you for healing my grief, my sadness. Mikwech bisandawi egg. Thank you for listening. Apeyenge. Amen. Amen. I've always just assumed that anybody who sees us pray on this show, that they understand that I guess it doesn't matter if they understand anything. But I'll pray in Ojibwe and offer tobacco and refer to the Great Spirit as the Great Spirit. And it's the exact same person as when I pray in English and refer to him as Our Father who art in heaven. Nusana wakwing abion. Our Father, Great Spirit, Creator, Jehovah, whatever you want to call him. That sometimes people are like, well, which religion are you? Do you walk the path of the red road, or do you follow the way of Jesus? I'm like, yeah, Both. Neither. Whatever. I'm just talking to God, okay? I don't know which category to put him into. The Creator. I'm suspending my disbelief that there's no such thing as an entity that hears and or cares about my thoughts. You know, I was grown up to believe that if you pray, you can even pray silently in your head, and the Great Spirit will hear that prayer. The Christians believe that. The traditional Indians believe that. The Muslims believe it. The Scientologists believe it. I don't know. I wonder if the Scientologists think that Tom Cruise can hear their thoughts. I think he can hear my thoughts. No, but, you know, but I don't know. You know, I can't say for sure that, yeah, that's true. You can talk to the Creator of these flowers. He can hear your thoughts, cares about your life. He loves you. Oh, yeah, he's your Great Spirit. I don't know. But I have to believe that it's at least possible. And I got some anecdotal evidence of answered prayer now and then. Especially like that last prayer, that little sentence I said. Miigwech ga'ishi gage niwi gashkenda moen. Thank you for healing my grief. I always say that, or I try to remember to say it. Because it was one way that I got through losing people, and especially my cat, Princess. But the other thing I kind of felt like when I started to suspend disbelief in prayer, it's like, what if that is true? What if my grandmother wasn't a fool? Let's just for the sake of argument, let's say my grandma wasn't dumb. She would say, yes, your Creator, He loves you. He listens to your prayers. And if you're in trouble or not, you should. He wants you to talk to Him every day, all the time. Go ahead. You know, she had no doubt. She would pray before every piece of toast and cup of tea. Oh, thank you, Jesus. You know, those boarding school Christian grandmas, they weren't like lukewarm. These old ladies, they had strong belief. Zero doubt. They were devout. They were prayer people. Always constantly, you know. So, if I can suspend my brainwashed, colonized, educated mind that says, oh, come on, there's no God. If for 1 second you kind of go, hey, wait a second, if that's true, then does that mean heaven's real? Does that mean, yeah, then that means we are actually spirits. Manaduk. If prayer is real, then that means everything's back on the table. Your soul is real, prayer, God is real. Your ancestors are in heaven watching you. You know, it's like, how come you never visit my gravestone? Nah. You know, there's a lot of people like your grandma, probably, who had no doubt. Like, yeah, no, we're spirits. And when you die, your spirit goes back to the Creator. And you get to see your old pets. They all greet you at these pearly gates. I don't know, but why not? If I can choose to believe that, it does cheer me up. I'll tell you that much. Footprints in the sand. Yeah, that's Wally Bear. I think there is something to that. If any kids don't know, there's a kind of a famous wall hanging poem, or maybe it's in the Bible. I don't even know. It might be a Bible verse for all I know. But what it's about is that this guy dies or something, or maybe he was talking to Jesus. Anyway, he's looking back on his life, and you could see footprints in the sand where he walked with Jesus. You know, this guy was so devout. You know, he served Jesus like he was his king, the King of Kings, the Lord Jesus. He walked with him in the red path of righteousness. You know, whatever. But then he goes, then I looked at the hard times, and guess what? There's only two, footprints. There's only one set of footprints. Where were you when I needed you most? And he was, like, kind of challenging Jesus. Hey, remember that really bad season I had of whatever? And Jesus was like, well, that's when I carried you. And it's just, I jump myself up every time I say that. That's when I carried you. And you're like, But then what? When the bad times are over, he dropped, let you down and go, oh, my back. Can you walk beside me for a while? You're gonna bring me to my grave. No. I'm gonna have to resurrect all over again. But I don't know. When my cat passed away, Princess, I don't know. I wasn't young. It wasn't my first time at having a broken heart. But it made me have to really cut the crap. When I was so sad and I was praying, just take her quickly, please. It's so pitiful the way she was passing away. I realized I have to. Obviously, I believe. I'm pleading with the spirit world without going, I wonder if this is ridiculous. And then after, the dust settled and, I kind of recovered a little bit, I still believed in the spirits and God and prayer. And so I've just been that's why I put out my tobacco. And just check in. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for everything. Don't go too far. I might need you again. I might need you to pick me up and carry me in the sand. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go back. I'm going to go back, Benishiag. Yeah, I got to go back. We're running out of time. Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow. Okay. Geek them up and in. As a bird, they wanted to know if I was going to be back. Okay. Okay, BOOZHOO. Hi, sweetie. You ready to come home? Yeah, can you pick me up? Okay. That's 1 to teleport. Make it so, number 1. Oh, there she is. Oh, hi. How you doing? I'm doing great. Did you put out some tobacco? I did. Did you talk about the great mysteries of the world? Kinda. Did you pray for me? Nope. Why don't you pray for me? I don't know. I never think of it until I get back here. And don't guilt me. All right. I'll pray for you next time. But what else, Michael Lyons? You want to land the plane? Should I land the plane? You want to tell them about the books? Yeah, okay. Hey everyone, if you'd like to support the show, you can always click the links in the description to Patreon or PayPal or GoFundMe, whatever you like. And Michael Lyons, the rockstar cartoonist, has books for sale on Amazon.com. Books like... Oh, which one? Oh, wait, before we go. Books like OJIBERISH. Now, OJIBERISH is not about aliens, except it kind of is. There's a lot of aliens in this, but it's really about Ojibwe language. And it has cartoons kind of like this. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I pulled this up. Jagog. That's a skunk. And he's saying, Miigwech, Nietzsche. Thank you, brother. And he's giving a big old hug to the little cutie. OJIBERISH. Cartoons by Michael Lyons. On sale now at Amazon.com. Yeah. You want to add anything? Nope, that's great. Okay. Hey, everyone. Miigwech Bizendawi egg. Thank you for listening. Dash Miigwech Gonna Wabi egg. And thank you for watching BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Natasha. This over here. Yep. This is not a BOOZHOO. Okay, Miigwech. That over there. Yep. That's Michael Lyons, the rockstar cartoonist. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. And I will see you again. Kikawabamin. Minawa. Sweetie pie? 1 to teleport. Make it so. Number 1. See you tomorrow.